We're going to get straight to it. My name is Ramallah. I am the founder here at NuCoord. NuCoord stands for New Coordinates on Your Life Path Journey. Just a little bit background about me and who I am, why I got started in tech. So I was working in the technology field, and during my time working in tech, I just noticed that it wasn't a lot of women, it wasn't a lot of people of color working in tech, and I wondered, like, why is that? So, during my time working in the field, I began to network, and I just noticed that a lot of technology skills were not taught to these underserved communities. And so I did some volunteering, and in my time of building up my network, I ran into Keyna. Keyna was going viral on social media, and I'm just like, let me hit her up. She seems really cool and like someone I would want to build with. So we founded NuCoord, and we have done so many amazing things since then. We have worked with the youth at the Juvenile Center. We have held a summer camp at Roosevelt University. We have did a 2-year Google Summit at the Google office headquarters here in Chicago for high school and college students interested in computer science. And all our curriculum is developed by Keyna and I and other seasonal professionals sometimes. And with my background in cybersecurity and working in technology consultant, we just want to make sure technology is accessible and understandable for everyone. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit about NuCoord and why we were founded. And I'm going to pass it off to Keyna.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Ramallah. My name's Keyna. I am based here in Chicago as well. I have a background in tech. I've worked as a market analyst at different companies like Uber and DocuSign. My time at Uber, I was going viral, like Ramallah said. I was just doing a day in my life, working in tech, and I noticed that a lot of women, a lot of men, just a lot of people of color were really drawn to my story and how I broke into tech. And I also noticed a commonality that people were very intimidated by the tech landscape. They thought it was much harder to break into it than it actually is. So once Ramallah reached out to me, I noticed she was another woman also working under the tech landscape. We connected from there. We did some volunteer work together, and my passion for this nonprofit space and bringing others into tech just grew immensely. And I was so on board when she brought the idea to start a NuCoord with me. And our journey has been so amazing. We've been able to serve so many students, so many adults across Chicago. And here we are now with our LinkedIn Live series, which I hope we can reach even more professionals and students.
Thank you, Keyna. And without further ado, we would love to introduce our lovely, fantastic speaker, Melissa Simmons. Melissa will give us an introduction about herself.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Melissa Simmons. I'm a cybersecurity professional, CTF enthusiast, and I am founder of a cybersecurity startup specializing in security awareness education and communication services. And a little bit about my background. I am based in healthcare communications and government service, and I am a mid-level career changer into cybersecurity. Um, my curiosity brought me here, right? I just wanted to learn so much about the new and revolutionary technology and what was this concept of cybersecurity. So I dove in head deep. I decided to go after a certification. I got my Google professional certification. I joined different organizations like Latinas in Cyber, Latinas in Tech here in Chicago. I I immersed myself in the technology space. And actually, I met Ramallah and Keyna at Chicago Tech Week. And so I just went up to them. I wasn't afraid to network. I just went up to them and I was like, hey, uh, there's not many people like you guys and me in the room. Like, let's connect, let's be friends. And I was just like, I love what you guys are doing, educating the underrepresented groups. I was like, I'm from the west side of Chicago. That's totally my vibe. That's totally what I want to do too. And I was like, we just need more representation in the space and we're here to make a splash. So that's how we met. And, I've been immersing myself in the cybersecurity community ever since.
Amazing story, Melissa. And I am so happy we connected. You're right. There wasn't many young women in the room that look like us or that at these events. So it's been amazing to connect with you. And hopefully we can reach more younger people and women to join us.
Absolutely. I'm
Yes.
so excited.
Yes. So you said you had an interesting pathway into breaking into cybersecurity. So what do you think are traditional and non-traditional pathways into cybersecurity?
Yeah, so there's different paths. I mean, you can take the straight out of college, you can take the community college route. I know that now the White House has released an initiative that's different pathways into the cybersecurity workforce. So they're promoting just that simple community college degree. You can go for your bachelor's in information technology, or in the more modern schools there's a cybersecurity degree. And you can, if you're a mid-career changer, you can go through the ranks of your company. Or if you've been with a company for a while and they know who you are and your work ethic, and you voice that you're interested in learning about more technical roles, you can move through the ranks of your own company that you're at right now. My path has not been linear. It's been like totally zigzag and up and down. And that's because I didn't have any connections in the field. I was like starting my network from ground zero. I was learning as I go. I'm self-taught and I'm not technical at all. So I've been, I started with my foundational certification. Then I decided to build on those technical skills and try to develop them as I go. Um, I had some of those soft kind of technical skills from my last role. So working in the government with the big data systems and doing some reconnaissance and OSINT, which is open source intelligence. And so that's how I figured out I can use those skills and they would be transferable into cybersecurity.
You made a really good point, and thank you for sharing about using the company that you're currently at to kind of take that different career path. When I was at Uber, I was a market analyst, but I really, really, really wanted to get my SQL, my SQL certification. And I'm like, I have to take advantage of it. They're giving free courses. We can get certified here for free. They'll pay for the classes if we do something external. So that was a really good call out, Melissa. Definitely use the resources that you have now, like companies that you're currently working at, to get that leverage into the field that you're interested in, and network within the company as well into those job fields that you're interested in. So I know you also mentioned having to build your network up from scratch. How can students start now using LinkedIn to showcase their skills and network with professionals?
Yeah, LinkedIn has been critical. It's the most important social media platform for professionals. And so what I would suggest is just document your journey, document anything you're working on, post it on LinkedIn. If you're working on a CTF, post your badge. If you're working on a blog post, post it and ask the question and see if you can get people talking and engage that way. Um, Post your certification so that people know that you're upskilling yourself and that you're highly qualified for the role you want to go after. And recruiters and hiring managers also like to see that you're upskilling, you're always learning. So in cybersecurity, you're always learning. Learning is never going to stop. And in one of my last companies, um, the slogan was like lifelong learner, and I didn't really care. I didn't really get it. Now I get it. It's like there's always a new evolving threat. There's always more technology in the landscape. You got to keep up. You got to learn new technologies. You have to learn. And then certifications is the best way to show that, you're skilled in a specific area. As far as your LinkedIn profile, optimize your profile, and you can do it like very simply. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. Do one thing a day to just make your profile explain who you are and what you do. If you can't get professional headshot, just go to your wall and put your camera up and get a nice plain background and take a picture. I pulled my ring light out, and that's my profile photo because I had my old headshot from my old company for so long, so I had to get a new one. Optimize your headline with these key words and key phrases that you want people to know who you are and what you're working on. It can be like a sentence, or it can be just a few short words or phrases to explain what they're going to see when they visit your profile. And then networking is the best thing you can do. It's easy, it's simple. People don't have to leave the comfort of their own homes. Reach out to people who are in the role you want or the company you want, or if someone's a more seasoned professional, reach out to them and just say, hey, I'm interested in working with Uber, with Google. Do you have time for a quick coffee chat? I would love to hear your story. I would love to hear your journey about how you got to where you are. People love to talk about themselves, so I'm sure you'll get a lot more yeses than nos. And if you get a no, or you don't get a response, don't take it personally either. People are just busy. People are living lives. And, I'm sure that you'll get a lot more help from networking on LinkedIn than you won't.
Yeah, those are some amazing points, Melissa. And a lot of those points, we have our course coming out. And our course is called What the Heck is Tech? And it's for beginners in technology. And we have our store. We plan on going live this week. But a lot of those points that you mentioned are in the course. And because I feel like that's so essential for job seekers to know. Don't get discouraged. Don't feel like you have to have the most fanciest headshot. Like all those things are important when it comes to your LinkedIn. And we will be dropping the link to our Shopify store as well, so you all can be able to shop NuCoord Academy. But okay, so we talked about how to grow or how to switch into a role within a company. But
I
what
want
if you
to just really quickly before you move on. I want to say that, Melissa, you are a shining example of using LinkedIn to showcase your skills. You do have a blog, and you do really, really well with putting your skill set out there, giving out information about what your area of expertise is. So, great answer, and you practice what you preach. So I love that. Sorry, I just had to give her kudos.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, jumping into a field brand new and just like soaking up the information and all the advice, it wasn't easy and it was overwhelming at first. So again, yeah, little by little. And again, like with something as simple as a headshot, like don't get overwhelmed and just be your authentic self. Like if you're not a professional yet, that's okay. But do these little things to optimize and showcase who you are, but don't overwhelm yourself, and do it simple and easy, and don't make anything complicated and stressful for yourself.
Thank you for that, Melissa. So my next question is you. So we talked about professionals who are in a company already and how they can move up in the company or move into a different role in the company. What advice do you have for someone that's just starting out today in cybersecurity? They want to learn cybersecurity. What is the first certification they want to go down? Say if they don't want to go the traditional way of going to school and getting the bachelor's degree, what is the first certification that you would recommend that someone can go after today to put them on the right path to knowing about cybersecurity?
Yeah, absolutely. I would. So CompTIA is the most industry recognized standard and they have just lines of certification. So it starts with something, the more foundational one is A+. Then you could work your way up to Net Plus, Sec Plus. So start with those, and there's plenty of free resources online, YouTube, wherever, like study guides. Professor Messer is like one of the most popular ways to study for those certifications. There's many free or low cost certifications through different pathways. With Latinas in Cyber, I did the Google Cybersecurity Professional Certification. That one was really, and before that one, I did the ISC2, and those are very good, and they were like very comprehensible, easy to understand, very engaging. The Google one, in my opinion, was the best one for my learning style because they had different subject matter experts for every different section, and it was just more engaging that way. The graphics, something as simple as the graphics, were more engaging for me. I'm a visual learner. Um, so so back to the CompTIA, those certifications are going to be more widely acceptable. Like in job postings, they're more of the standard acceptable ones for recruiters and hiring managers. The Google and the ISC2 are not so much yet. They're great, and if you talk to any cyber professional, they'll be like, "Oh, you took the Google one? Yeah, that's a really good one." It's just not very widely recognized yet. And so I think that companies need to catch up with what Google has going on because they have a really good certification. But start with your A+ if you're like just jumping into technology from, not having any tech experience at all, and then get your Net Plus because networking, the basics of networking is very important to understand, especially if you want a technical role. And then you can go towards the security once you're in a more cyber related role.
Thank you so much, Melissa. So we talked about what certifications are important as far as first steps if you're looking to just join. What would you say are some other steps that students can take to start building on to their cybersecurity career? And you've suggested certifications. We've talked a little bit about LinkedIn and networking. Does anything else stand out to you that really helps maybe you in your career or someone else's?
Yeah, so once you have that basic foundational understanding, you're going to want to work on personal projects. This is what everybody's going to tell you. Personal projects is where you're going to get your experience. So build a VM, build a virtual machine, use any platform that you like, just Google, and you'll learn that everything in cyber is like self-taught. It's like Google, follow the video, like kind of learn it yourself. But that's good. That's what helps you become a problem solver. That's what helps you get those critical thinking skills because you have to solve this yourself with either no experience or very low experience. So set up your virtual home lab, work with tools that you're going to use in the real world, So Wireshark for network packet analysis, your SIEM if you want to work in the SOC. So that's your security information and event management, which is going to give you, it's going to analyze your machine. There's Burp Suite for web app exploitation. You have Autopsy for digital forensics. And there's a number of open source challenges that you can do if you want to work on your OSINT, open source intelligence. There's a number of it's just a matter of like Googling what you want to work on and figuring out what the tool is for that role. Try Hack Me and Hack the Box is like number one. You probably do try Hack Me and Hack the Box before you do your own home lab because they have the scenario set up for you and they have the virtual box for you where you just go in and like download everything and get it set up that way. And I personally love Trihackney in the holidays. Right now in December, they have the 25-day challenge, and that one's really fun. It's one challenge every day, and it's like a theme around like a holiday. Uh, uh, it's just like fun. So when you do those challenges, create a write-up that shows your process of how you walk through the steps and how you solve the challenge. That in itself is technical writing, and that's a skill, and that's a role that you can get into that way. Um, yeah, once you're done working on those technical skills, I would say networking again is the best way to get into the industry. Um, your network is your net worth. That's what I hear a lot, and so
That's my favorite saying.
yeah. And what I would say to that point is don't make the mistake that I made. Like when I started networking, I thought right away it was going to be like transactional. And I thought I was going to get a job after my first networking event. And it's really just for you to meet the individuals, meet your peers in the industry, get to know people, let them get to know you, build the very authentic and genuine connections first. Let them get to know you and what you can do, and don't go in with any expectations, and you won't be disappointed.
Melissa, you are dropping gems, like so many different gems. This is good. So I know you mentioned it when it comes to finding a role and finding out what to study, you just have to know what you're looking for, and then that can kind of lead you into what to study. And Keyna and I, we are big on that. That's why we have developed our AI tool called Atlas, and we're currently doing a demo on Atlas. So if you all are interested in Atlas, please sign up to schedule a demo. What Atlas does is basically it assesses you as a person. It assesses so many different type of personality traits, and then we combine that with a role in tech. And based off of how you took that assessment, the Atlas will partner you with the role that fits you best in tech, basically. So with that being said, what types of roles are high in demand right now in cybersecurity?
So I think the most recent role that I've seen like very popular is GRC. That's governance, risk, and compliance. And so that role is more policy and regulatory related. And it's using the framework that helps organizations monitor and manage those risks and compliance issues. And so now they have certifications. If you want that GRC role, they have certifications aimed toward that. Um, I also think that we're going to see more security awareness education roles. If you Google that right now, there's not a lot at all. And so I think that based on what I'm seeing on LinkedIn, it might just be my algorithm because that's what I'm working on right now. But I think we're going to see more of that because that first line of defense is the easiest for organizations to kind of budget into their annual budget without diving into a whole cybersecurity team. Although, that's a little bit of a shortcut, but it'll help secure the information. But I think we're going to see more of that in the coming years as well. And I have a few. I also have I have a cybersecurity aptitude test, which would be good. How can I put it in the chat though?
I can, if you send it to me, I can send it to the attendees right after the chat. I mean, right after them.
Oh, okay.
I know that we are coming up on time here. So, Keyna, did you want to go ahead with another question?
I think we have about a minute before we'll move into our audience questions. I'm sure you all have tons for Melissa. She's very insightful. I guess I would say What emerging trends do you think students or professionals should be watching out for in cybersecurity currently? Does anything stand out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. AI is here to stay. Generative AI is not going anywhere. And the landscape, I mean, generative AI, the technologies is just evolving so quickly. And so the threat landscape is expanding because there's so many entry points and endpoint users. So I think we're going to see a lot more AI, generative AI. It's not going anywhere. Um, Again, the White House announced their national cyber workforce and education strategy, which is they're basically saying you don't have to have that bachelor's degree. You can go in with work experience, with skills based. So I know the DoD has hosted and are continuing to host these CTFs where they're just recruiting people on the spot. Like if you're on the top leadership board, um, they're having recruiters call you and come in for interviews. And so they're getting people that way in the skills based um, avenue, and then quantum security. And I don't know a lot about quantum computing, and I was actually listening to a podcast earlier, and even the experts couldn't really grasp their head around it. But Chicago announced that they're having this massive quantum campus, which is coming to the southeast side of Chicago. And so that's expected to generate jobs, economic growth, economic development. And I know that in terms of cybersecurity, quantum computing is has to do with cryptography. And so I can't really explain much more than that, but I think that's something that'll be on the lookout in the near future here, especially here in Chicago.
Perfect. Thank you, Melissa. And before we move on to audience Q&A, Melissa, how can the audience stay up to date and stay connected with you?
Oh, with me, you can follow me on LinkedIn. Follow my name, Melissa Simmons. There you can get different avenues to my blog, which is Wild Hair Cyber and Tech blog. And yeah, I will be documenting my entrepreneur journey especially on LinkedIn. So just stay tuned for that and reach out to me if you have any questions. Please, I would love to do a coffee chat. I would love to just send you the resources. Linnea, yeah, I can send you resources, information. Just message me and I can send that out.
Yes. And I believe we had another question from the audience. Any advice on securing internships?
Oh, there's so many internships out there. And yeah, Dan said search cybersecurity internships. There's so
Mhm.
many out there and different program like, and also not just a basic Google search, but if you're a part of, any local, any groups you're a part of or any local groups, I'm sure they have resources as well, and check those avenues to see if, because I'm a part of Baddies in Tech and I know they're posting all the time. So like if you're on Discord, especially those cyber Discords, check
Mhm.
those servers, and they have lots of resources, internships,
And
fellowships, especially
I
White
do
House is coming out with their fellowships as well.
I do want to say when my job in cybersecurity was basically like not like an intern slash graduate type of role. However, I would say healthcare. Look into healthcare. The field for healthcare and cybersecurity is growing and growing and growing. So don't always go after the super big tech companies. Look for the small healthcare insurance companies, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna. Like those type of companies are always looking for cybersecurity professionals because they deal with so much PII. So look into those type of companies as well. But yes, Melissa, that was definitely good information.
Yeah, no, that's great advice because they're getting hit with ransomware, and so they're going to need that extra layer of support as well.
Yes. Well, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Melissa, for being our lovely, fantastic, and first speaker on our first episode on Let's Link Up.
Woohoo!
So we will send out all the resources that we mentioned in this webinar, and we hope that you all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you
Bye.
again, Melissa. Thank you,
Thank you so
everyone. Bye.
much. Thanks for joining.